It's really helpful for the team. So if they are happy, much better, because the players are going to be happy and more settled, and it gives you a much bigger sense of belonging somewhere when you really feel that you are part of something.
You mentioned there some of the players from different countries. Have you had any involvement with this kind of cohesion, especially off the pitch, in terms of the personal relationship?
Well, we do certain things to try to bring everybody together, to try to at least have the capacity to connect, and then obviously a relationship, whether you like somebody or you want to spend time with somebody, is something super personal, and that's something completely down to them.
Okay, very Sam.
Mikel, both teams this weekend play with very high defensive lines. Can you just explain how much demand that puts on the defenders to be able to do that and cope with it, and what the modern defender needs to be able to handle it?
Probably it's a question for them, but it puts more demand because you see a space behind you, but the ball normally is further from your goal, so you have a choice to make. You want to defend closer to your 6-yard box and a lot of balls coming up there, or you prefer to have the ball very far and make life more predictable. But there are pros and cons to everything. I think you need the players as well to feel comfortable with that, and certainly ours are, because are used to it.
How much sort of encouragement do they need from you to keep pushing and to be brave enough to leave all that space?
Well, there is a limit, no, because there is an offside line there that you have to respect. But they know that they know what we want to play. We know that where that ball. We want that ball as much as possible and as frequent as possible, and I think they are comfortable with that.
Jordan?
Mikel, you would have known about this derby before you got to Arsenal as a player, but when you signed for them, being inside the club, feeling it, can you just explain what that was like in your first derby and the emotions it stirred up inside of you?
Well, it's been a while ago, so I can't remember exactly the feelings, but yeah, you just touch history there, and it's a big one in this football club. There is a big one between the two clubs, and it's something that it makes a club bigger and better. That's for sure. It's needed in football, in elite sport. It's needed to have these other clubs, these other people, sometimes certain individuals that you have to confront and fight and prove that you are better than them to make yourself better. And I think it's really positive for everybody.
And when you were at a club as a player, did you go to anyone and ask about the derby, or did Arsene Wenger talk to you about it, and did you go out on your own and learn about the history of it?
Probably it's a bit of everything, and we had certain members of the staff that I remember that they were very keen with that and really passionate about it, and sometimes that's the most powerful thing, is about someone that is not a coach to explain what it means for them and for our supporters, these kind of games.
Hey, Tom?
Hi, Mikel. Martin Odegaard has been in amazing form in the last few weeks. So just can you talk a bit about how you changed his role this season, especially kind of playing a bit deeper in the last few months, and why he did that?
I think it depends on the game as well, but as well we have demanded him to be much closer to the opponent box in certain moment, and he's done that. He keeps evolving, he keeps growing, he wants more. The impact that he's got in the team, obviously, it's huge, and he wants more, which is good to know.
Was that something that was driven by him or by you?
It's never him. It has to. At the end, it has to come from him. Something has to inspire him, and we have to help him to. Sometimes not to convince him, but to show him what he can do, what is the room for improvement, the things that he needs to maintain doing that are super good, and then he needs faith in the people around him as well to help him to develop.
Is that one of the biggest things since he's arrived, the kind of making him believe in himself? Has that been a big part of his program?
Probably in various ways, because nobody questions his talent, and it's more about, okay, can you settle in somewhere and be one of the most important players, become a role model, become a captain. So there's a lot of steps there to make, and he's done that really fast.
Okay, last couple now. Neil?
Yeah.
Hi.
We've already talked about the 20th anniversary of the last Arsenal title. Have you had the chance to pick Arsene's brain and talk to him about winning the title and the pressures of the title running?
I have spoken to him a few times about certain topics, about how they've won it and later stages. He used to talk about that as well when I was a player, so there's always there in the hard drive.
Can you give some sort of insight of what you've taken from him, the man who's won 3 titles for Arsenal? at this, especially this time of the season?
For this time, at the end, it's about finding a way to win a game. And that's it. You can do it in various ways when you look at how they won the titles and how they won certain games with very, very, very close margins. He always talked about that, about the fine margins and who's going to step up in the occasion to make it happen.
Okay, finally we'll go to Ed from The Guardian.
We go just on Odegaard. You mentioned in these obviously captain now. Have you been impressed with how he's taken that upon himself and growing as a leader, and not just him but the rest of the team? You know, developing several leaders throughout the cycle.
Yeah, exactly what you mentioned. It's not only about him because he needs to have that role, but that role has to be given as well with the blessing of a team, a group of players that as well believe in him and they are capable and happy, for him to give him that space and that responsibility and give him support. And we were really lucky because we obviously had that with a few of them, and then because it's a team that individually you have unbelievable characters, and that makes life very, very easy for you as a captain.
Okay, thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you very much.